Hello. Uh, this is an environmental ethics slideshow for environmental science presented by Edward Imperio. What are environmental ethics? Environmental ethics definition is the discipline in philosophy that studies the moral relationship of human beings to and also the value and moral status of the environment and its non-human contents. So environmental ethics is basically just a branch of ethics that is focusing on the relationship between humans and the environment, mostly on how humans are treating the environment. Environmental ethics believes that humans are a part of society as well as other living creatures, which is including plants and animals. So, like instead of how humans like to bend nature to their will, we should be showing more thoughtfulness of what we're doing and how it's affecting other species and how it in turn is affecting us. Next slide. What are environmental ethics? Environmental ethics can be seen as well as not seen in many things. So by seen, I mean ethical things, and unseen, I mean unethical things. So unethical things can range from large coal mines to deforestation. Coal mines are unethical because, we're harvesting lots of resources from the earth as well as releasing lots of natural gases into the atmosphere, which is air pollution. It's something not good. It's in turn causing global warming. Another non-ethical thing would be deforestation, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're just cutting down trees, which is pretty much houses and resources for other animals, which is unethical because that reduces their chances to live and can ultimately result in extinction. Some ethical things can range from protected wildlife to recycling incentives. So again, seen as some like ethical things we can be doing. Protected wildlife is kind of like the opposite of deforestation. We're making sure that this either areas or certain animals have places to live that can be unbothered by humans and some other natural predators, but mostly humans. Some recycling incentives are kind of sad if you think about it, how we have to put incentive to recycle. It's recycling. It's just good. You're making sure that these plastics and other things that should be recycled aren't going out into the environment and harming animals and harming, animals and the environment. Next slide. Why are environmental ethics important? Environmental ethics doesn't just go towards the animals and their habitats. It's a two-way street. So if we're affecting the animals and their habitat, it's in turn affecting us, really. Environmental ethics is overall good for everybody, especially the environment as a whole. So I made this little analogy because happy wife is happy life. It's an old saying for couples. The wife is acting as our world, and if we're making sure that the world is all good, then we're going to be good, because if the world's not good, it's not going to be good for us, and we'll see if we keep on going down this path of non-ethical things. Next slide. Please excuse my shuffling. I'm using notes here. Why are environmental ethics important? Environmental ethics helps in reducing pollution. Although there are many ways this can be seen, it is mostly seen in recycling. That's a big one. As long as we're not, again, putting those plastics and other recyclables out into the environment where it's going to harm other animals and their habitat, it's all good. Recently, Team Trees planted millions of trees to help combat deforestation. That's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of cutting down these trees for animals that are depending on it, we're planting them. We're planting homes. We're planting resources so that these animals are able to live, which is good. And it's not only helping the animals and the environment, the trees are also going to be sucking up CO2 from the atmosphere and replacing it with oxygen, which is good. It's going against global warming. Next slide. What is causing environmental pollution? I mean, there are a number of causes to pollution, but to put it blatantly, it is humans. Humans are causing environmental pollution. And, before, if one human were to put, one plastic bottle in the gray bin, wouldn't be the end of the world. It's bad, but it's one. It's not gonna blow up or anything. But with the increase in population, all those small things are adding up, which is bad. Individual humans also aren't causing the majority of pollution, but rather big companies are producing mass waste. So I'm not here to flame any companies, but I'm sure people have seen big smokestacks releasing black clouds into the atmosphere. That's just bad, big air pollution. It doesn't even look good. It's harming the environment, causing global warming. It's even harming us. It's just all bad. And believe it or not, big companies are even dumping waste into nearby rivers, oceans, and lakes. It's just horrible. It's like if somebody came into your home, dumped all their garbage, and then left, and now you got to deal with it. And you got to deal with the garbage. You got to deal with the disease. You got to deal with all the problems it brings. Next slide. What's causing environmental pollution? Individuals still are causing environmental pollution. I know I just said big companies are, but again, the number of humans doing small polluting things also adds up. So if one guy puts that little plastic bottle in the grape bin again, it's okay, but there are many people who be doing that. And many people, another example would be like driving cars or boats or motorcycle, anything that burns gas really, is putting it all in the atmosphere. All those natural gases, not natural gases, I'm sorry. Well, they're burning all the fuel and it's going into the atmosphere. And again, if there's one guy, it's not the end of the world. But there are millions, billions of people doing that, and that's what's bad. Another one is failure to reduce, reuse, and recycle is also what is contributing to environmental pollution. I mean, that's what it is right there. If you're not recycling things that should be recycled, it's just going out there and affecting other animals. A big movement is the No Straw November, and just what it is, like no plastic straws, because it's saving turtles. It's going into the oceans and it's harming life. Animals are eating it, getting stuck in it and dying, and it's bad. It's not what it should be. It's not natural. Next slide. How can we prevent environmental pollution? Just like there are a number of ways humans are polluting the world, there are also a number of ways that we can unpollute the world. Like if somebody puts one plastic bottle in the gray bin, it doesn't mean it's stuck there. Somebody can take that plastic bottle out and put it back in the blue bin. And all those small things that people did to pollute it, small things people can do to unpollute it. And ultimately, those small things can add up and into one bigger picture, and we can just help the world as a whole. Another unpopular way, well, many people don't realize that not supporting any businesses that produce substantial waste is also another way that we can prevent environmental pollution. So there's big smokestacks on the right. If you know a business is doing that, you shouldn't be buying their products, because it's an indirect way of protesting, really, because that business is going to be left with two options. They're going to see that people aren't buying from them, and now they either change what they're doing, which is polluting, or they go bankrupt, which means they're not going to be polluting because they're bankrupt, which is overall good. Next slide. Environmental ethics overview. So again, definition. Environmental ethics is the discipline and philosophy that studies the moral relationship of human beings to, and also the value and moral status of, the environment and its non-human contents. Again, it's a two-way street. As long as we're making sure the world is healthy, then we're going to be good, because if there's no world, there's no us. We live on this world. The world doesn't live on us. Some non-ethical things would be polluting like the air, which is global warming, destruction of the environment, not good. Some ethical things would be unpolluting, is just undoing the mistakes of non-ethical things and making sure we're not making those mistakes again. So like protecting endangered species is helping with biodiversity, and wildlife sanctuaries are keeping habitats safe for certain animals and species. And that's basically environmental ethics, is just fixing our past mistakes and making sure we're not making those mistakes again. Next slide. Works cited. I know you see Wikipedia there, but I promise I didn't use Wikipedia that much really. I mostly used the class's contents. Next slide. The end. Okay. Thank you for listening and watching.